Listen up. I need every single man in this room to wake up. I need you to understand something fundamental, something they don't want you to know. The world doesn't care about you. Society doesn't care about you. Women don't care about you unless you make them. And the only way to make them care is by becoming something. By becoming a man of status, a man of power, a man of strength. Every single man on this planet is going to face heartbreak. And I'm not just talking about women. I'm talking about life. I'm talking about betrayal. I'm talking about pain that burns through your chest, that keeps you up at night staring at the ceiling, wondering why it had to happen to you. Your best friend will turn his back on you. Your business partner will rob you blind. The woman you loved will walk away like you never existed. And do you know what? That's good. That's a gift. Because if you weren't tested, if you weren't broken, if you weren't pushed to the very edge of despair, then you wouldn't be a man. A weak man gets heartbroken and lets it destroy him. A strong man takes the pain, looks in the mirror, and asks himself the only question that matters. What now? You can sit there crying into your pillow, blaming the world, blaming her, blaming everyone else. Or you can take responsibility. You let it happen. You allowed yourself to be weak. You failed to be the kind of man she couldn't walk away from. And if you don't change, if you don't evolve, if you don't become stronger, then guess what? It will happen again and again and again until there's nothing left of you but a shell of what you once were. The best men, the real men, have suffered more than anyone else. You think I became who I am today because life was easy? You think I got here because people were nice to me? No, I got here because I took every single loss, every single heartbreak, every single betrayal, and I used it as fuel. My father died when I was young. Did I cry about it for years? No, I became stronger. I got locked up in a jail cell for crimes I didn't commit. Did I sit there feeling sorry for myself? No, I walked out of there stronger than ever. The truth is, every man has two choices: become a warrior or become a victim, and I don't respect victims. The world doesn't respect victims. Women don't respect victims. The moment you start blaming the world for your problems, you lose. The moment you sit there whining about how unfair life is, you lose. But the moment you decide that no matter what happens, no matter how hard you fall, you will stand back up, that's the moment you become untouchable. Heartbreak is a test. It's a challenge from the universe, and how you respond determines everything. When she leaves, when she betrays you, when she moves on like you never existed, you need to understand that it was a lesson. And what do we do with lessons? We learn from them. You weren't good enough. Accept it. You weren't strong enough. Accept it. And then fix it. Women don't respect weakness. They don't care about your tears. You think she's sitting there feeling bad about leaving you? No, she's with another man, a stronger man, a man who doesn't crumble at the first sign of trouble. And if that makes you angry, good. Use that anger, take that pain, bottle it up, and let it drive you. Go to the gym. Get stronger, make more money. Build a life so powerful that the next time she sees you, she regrets ever walking away. Weak men stay broken. Strong men rebuild. And I promise you, the moment you level up, the moment you become the man you were meant to be, you'll look back at that heartbreak and laugh. You'll thank her for leaving. You'll thank life for testing you, because that pain forced you to become the best version of yourself. So stop crying. Stop making excuses. Stop playing the victim. The world is brutal. Life is war. And the only way to win is to fight. You think this world is fair? You think people are going to hand you the life you dream of just because you exist? Wake up. Open your eyes. Nobody cares about your feelings. Nobody cares about your pain. And do you know why that's a good thing? Because it forces you to become something. It forces you to rise. And if you refuse, if you let yourself sink into the pit of self-pity and despair, then you deserve to stay there. Heartbreak is not just about women. It's about every single moment in life. When you get crushed, when you get humiliated, when you get betrayed. It's when you wake up one day and realize that everything you thought was solid was an illusion. Your friends, they leave when you stop being useful. Your boss, he'll replace you in a heartbeat. Your woman, she'll find another man if you don't level up. That's the truth. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you take control. I remember being broke. I remember sitting there in a tiny apartment staring at the ceiling, realizing that if I disappeared tomorrow, nothing would change. Nobody would care. And I had a choice. I could either accept that or I could do something about it. And do you know what I did? I worked day and night. While other people were drinking, while other people were sleeping, I was out there making moves. And when I failed, I didn't cry about it. I adapted. I learned. I kept going. Pain is fuel. Most men don't understand that. They get hurt and they break. They curl up, they quit, they look for someone to feel sorry for them. But the real ones, the men who rise, take that pain and turn it into power. When she leaves you, when she replaces you, when she acts like you never mattered, you have two choices: let it destroy you or use it to become a monster. Weak men want sympathy. They want the world to acknowledge their suffering, to pat them on the back and say, it's okay, you'll find someone else. But no one cares. And the moment you realize that, the moment you truly accept that nobody is coming to save you, you become dangerous. Because now you have no choice but to save yourself. Imagine two men. One loses his job, his girlfriend leaves him, and he sits in his room drowning in self-pity, eating junk food, watching Netflix, scrolling through social media, blaming the world. The other man, he loses his job, his girlfriend leaves, and he goes to war. He starts working harder than ever. He trains his body, he sharpens his mind, he builds his empire. Fast forward 5 years. So one man is still sitting in the same room, bitter, weak, forgotten. The other, he's on top of the world, driving his dream car, living in a mansion, surrounded by the best life has to offer. Which one are you? Most men will never make that choice. Most men will stay broken because it's easier. It's easier to sit there and complain. It's easier to tell yourself it's not your fault. But where does that get you? Nowhere. The world moves on and you stay stuck. The only way out is forward. The only way to win is to refuse to be beaten. Heartbreak is a gift. You don't see it now, but you will. Because every time you lose, every time life kicks you in the teeth, you are given a chance to become more, to become something unstoppable. But most of you won't. Most of you will stay in the past. You'll keep replaying the moment she left. You'll keep telling yourself the same story over and over until it defines you. And that is why most men never become great, because they let their pain consume them instead of consuming their pain. I'll tell you something about women. They don't respect weakness. They don't care about your sadness. If anything, she's lying in bed at night crying over you. No, she's laughing with her friends, texting someone else, moving on. And what are you doing? Still stuck in the past, still reminiscing, still refusing to accept the truth. She left because you weren't good enough. And if that makes you angry, good, use it. The most powerful men in history, the men who changed the world, were the ones who took their suffering and turned it into greatness. You want to be respected. You want women to chase you. You want power. Then earn it. Build yourself into something so undeniable that no one can ignore you. That is how you win. That is how you break free from weakness and claim your place in this world. This is the moment, right now. Decide, are you going to be another lost soul, another weak man who fades into nothing? Or are you going to rise? Because if you don't make that choice, if you don't take control, then life will keep breaking you again and again and again. Stand up. Fight back. Make them regret ever doubting you. Make them see what happens when you refuse to stay down. The world belongs to the strong. And you have everything inside you to be one of them. The moment you understand that life is a battlefield, everything changes. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hold your hand. There is no magical force that will pull you out of your misery. You have to decide that you refuse to stay weak, that you refuse to be another forgotten man, another broken spirit drowning in self-pity. Because the truth is, the world doesn't owe you anything. It never did. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you take control. You want power, you want respect, and earn it every hardship, every betrayal, every single moment where you are crushed under the weight of your own failure. That is your fuel. That is your fire. And yet most men don't get it. Most men take that pain and use it as an excuse. They let it define them. They sit there wallowing, convincing themselves that they were destined for suffering. But you're better than that. If you weren't, you wouldn't still be listening. You wouldn't still be here, absorbing every word, feeling that fire in your chest ignite. I've seen it all. I've seen men who had nothing but pain, and they turned it into the kind of life that most people only dream of. And I've seen men who had every opportunity, every advantage, and they threw it all away because they refused to step up. So what does that tell you? That success is a choice. Strength is a choice. The way you respond to pain is your choice. Let me tell you something about the most powerful men in history. None of them were given an easy road. Every single one of them faced adversity. They were broken. They were betrayed. They were left alone in the dark, questioning everything, but they didn't let it end them like. They used it. They took every ounce of pain, every scar, every moment of heartbreak, and turned it into something unstoppable. And now, the world remembers them. The world respects them because they refuse to be weak. And what about you? Are you going to be another man who fades into nothing? Another guy who had potential but never did anything with it? Or are you going to rise? Because make no mistake, this is your defining moment. This is where you either break or become unbreakable. Women don't respect weak men. The world doesn't respect weak men. Even other men don't respect weak men. If you're sitting around waiting for someone to feel sorry for you, you've already lost. If you think that crying, that complaining, that blaming everyone else is going to change your life, you're fooling yourself. The only thing that will change your life is you, your decisions, your actions. So I'm going to ask you right now, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay the same? Stay in that endless cycle of heartbreak, regret, and failure? Or are you going to get up, wipe the dust off your shoulders, and become a man worth remembering? Because here's the truth. You have one life, one shot. And every second you waste feeling sorry for yourself is a second you could be using to become better, stronger, more powerful than you ever imagined. And you think I got here by chance? You think I became top G by crying over the things that went wrong? No, I got here because I refused to lose. Because every setback, every loss, every ounce of suffering only made me stronger. And if you want the same, you need to embrace the fire. Stop running from it. Stop hiding. Stand in the flames and let them forge you into something indestructible. So make a choice right here, right now. Decide who you are. Decide what kind of man you're going to be. And when the world tries to break you, when life throws its worst at you, stand tall. Look it in the eye and show it that nothing can stop you. Because this is your moment. And weak men let their moments slip away. But you are not weak.